A first-time customer might want something a little bit lower price, get more of a deal, something a little bit less of a commitment, whereas an existing customer might go for like the full regalia bundle of all time, right? So you might want to consider having two different offers going into Black Friday at least.
You are now listening to the Creative Juice podcast brought to you by Entrepreneur.io.
What's up, Indies? Welcome back to the Creative Juice podcast. I'm so excited for this one. We're about 4 weeks out from a really, really important milestone, and we're here to talk about it today. I'm your host, Jack McCarthy. With me, as always, is my awesome co-host, Circa. Cirque, how excited are you for Black Friday?
Super excited, dude. Black Friday, post-Thanksgiving sales is always a great time at the company. We not only get to buy equipment that we've been having our eye on and do some personal shopping for Christmas, but we also get to make our clients a boatload of money and hopefully all of our indies a boatload of money as well. So that's what we're here to do.
It's kind of the nature of this episode's topic. We do this every year. It's always, I think it's a fun podcast sort of annual thing that we get to do, a fun topic to approach.
I haven't done one for a while though, so
I know. I'm happy to have you back to talk about this. I'm sure it's going to be a ton of fun. I think kind of the overall umbrella of this episode is, we've talked about Black Friday plenty on the podcast. I don't think we need to do a ton of convincing about why you should be running Black Friday sales, but maybe just to scratch the surface on that before we get into the nitty gritty and give you guys some ideas, some strategies, and some resources to work with. We can talk a little bit about what you can do at Black Friday and why it's so impactful.
Yeah, there's definitely some finer points to go over, and we have another year of agency experience under us. The market has changed, the environment has changed, social media has changed, and certainly our knowledge has only grown since the last time we did this. So even if you've caught the previous ones, I think we're going to get into some helpful tips and reminders here.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll make sure to link to all of our Black Friday episodes that we've done historically in the show notes so that you guys can kind of binge on Indie Black Friday and make the most of it from every angle we've ever talked about it from. I think that would be helpful. I hope that would be helpful. But in case you don't know, in case you're new here, in case Black Friday from a musician, from an artist, from a creative perspective is new to you, Black Friday for e-commerce, online businesses, retail businesses, you name it, is a massive, massive opportunity for selling to the tune of what, like 20 to 30% of revenue?
Up to 30% of your annual revenue can come through in literally a 1 week to 2 week period. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty wild. That's the scratching the surface of the why behind why we hardline this so much and talk about it. Because everybody else in the world is going to be advertising and selling during this period of time. And you as an indie should be taking advantage of that. And we've talked about this plenty on the podcast where it's like when the holidays come around, everybody else is selling, you might as well join them.
Yeah, it's sales you wouldn't have gotten otherwise because people not only set aside money for the post-Thanksgiving sales, but everyone's in the buying mood. And so they're more receptive to sales messaging. They're more receptive to looking out for offers. They actually are looking for people who are offering things at this time. So don't think of it as like, oh, like I'm just pulling sales forward or pulling them from behind. You're actually like getting an opportunity you probably wouldn't get otherwise.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, that's an interesting point for us to kick off on from something that we learned last year at the agency. And we're already starting to see this year with some of our clients is like, if you are selling right now, whether that be through funnels or just general e-commerce and you're running a lot of sales promotions, or maybe even you're doing a launch right now, if you're seeing a slowdown through October so far, and you're continuing to see a slowdown as we go into November, know that some of it has to do with people reserving their finances and reserving money for Black Friday sales because they know what's upcoming. They know that that's a big retail season. They're probably also saving for, holiday presents and gifts. And so if you're seeing any slowdown, the remedy to that is to start preparing yourself and prepare now. That's why we're doing this episode, a number of weeks. When this airs, it'll be about 4 weeks and a few days in advance of Black Friday. So you still have plenty of time to tap in and do some cool stuff to get prepared.
Big time. Yeah. I think a great way to start this off would just be, let's center it around kind of information you can use at any time, which is, why do we run sales promotions? What are we trying to achieve? And it all goes back to the 2 ways to grow a business, or as one of my marketing heroes from history, Jay Abraham, originally said it, 3 ways to grow a business. But recently that's been consolidated down to 2, which is you can create more customers. So you can increase the amount of customers you have in the business. You can increase the amount of transactions for each customer. So you could go from 1 on average to 2 purchases on average, or you could increase the average value of a transaction. And we can consolidate those last 2 to say, you can create customers and you can make customers worth more, right? Those are 2 ways. And that's what we want to do on any sales promotion, Black Friday included, is we want to take people who have not purchased from you before and give them a very good reason to get off the fence and become a customer. And then we want to pay special attention to your existing customers and try to increase the amount of purchases they've made by getting a follow-up purchase. And the reason I'm delineating those 2 is because you might want to consider having different offers targeted for those 2 different scenarios. You know, a first-time customer might want something a little bit lower price, get more of a deal, something a little bit less of a commitment, whereas an existing customer might go for like the full regalia bundle of all time, right? So you might want to consider having 2 different offers going into Black Friday at least.
For sure, yeah. And to give some credence and some real world experience to that, oftentimes at the agency, especially with artists that are kind of establishing their e-commerce footprint, we often do put in a lot of work on the front of creating offers with them that are specifically geared towards customer creation and ones that are specifically geared towards customer ascension and growing, a customer lifetime value, getting more out of the customers that they do have. And those, yeah, like you said, Cirque, those are oftentimes different offers. And it's not as simple as just putting out one blast message with everything and every call to action in one email or in one text message blast or one social media post or ad. Segmentation can be really important and helpful here. So a lot of the work that we do at Black Friday at the agency is figuring out, okay, what is the big opportunity for you as an artist? And that's what you should be thinking about is, do you have customers that you can create repeat customers from? Or maybe this Black Friday for you, it's just about creating the first customers. And if that's the case, great. This is a perfect time to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And this, like, by segmenting this way, we're not only able to talk to people differently. So your emails that go out to announce your offers or reinforce them can be different, right? We can be talking to people who have never bought something from you and mention that, or we can acknowledge that fact, which makes it more personalized. We can also acknowledge existing customers, which makes it feel more personalized. And that way it adds oomph to anything you're offering them because it makes them feel like you're actually paying attention, which you should be anyways, right? So it's a great opportunity. And so, yeah, like, just like I said, we're going to want to consider first-time customers as like, why haven't they gotten off the fence yet already? How can we get them off the fence? How can we give them tons of value at a low cost and get them to become customers? And what's cool here is that if you have software that allows for it, you can actually offer the thing you're offering to your existing customers as an upsell. So some of those people might be ready to take that right now. And so you can sort of order them in that way. So you're not leaving any sales on the table for people who might have just taken the big bundle. You can offer it as a one-click upsell to your existing cart.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's a really good point to make is when we talk about customer creation at Black Friday and getting people over the hurdle of making a first purchase with you, maybe the thought that comes into your mind is like, well, I'm not going to make much money off of that. And that might be okay for one, but like you just said, Cirque, you have the opportunity here to then take the thing that you're selling to your existing customers that's really cool and maybe a little bit higher ticket, maybe something that you make a little bit more profit off of. You do have the opportunity to upsell it to those people. And truthfully, if upsells freak you out, someone who is in a buying state is much, much, much more likely to continue to purchase and add things to their transaction, especially after they've put their credit card information and click the submit button. They're ready to go. And I see this play out in myself all the time, and I'm a marketer. So case made right there. Like, when you're buying, if you're then presented with a secondary follow-up offer that seems ridiculously valuable, even if it does cost more money, you're likely to see people take it, at least some percentage of those first-time customers.
Yeah, it's also like if I'm in a store and I'm like buying a pair of shoes, right? And there is a complimentary product or a cross sell or an upsell to make to me at the checkout counter. If it's not made and then it's made a month later, like I've already been walking around with the shoes for a month, like I'm out of the buying mode. And this compliment to it would be much more valuable to me at the point of purchase. So it's, get over it. If you,
Yeah.
because it's actually worse service to try to upsell down the line. It's actually better service to do it when I'm checking out. It makes it easier for me. I get to enjoy it immediately, so on and so forth.
One of my favorite recent stories that I remember hearing Alex Hormozy talk about was he was talking about gym sales and how when he was bringing people into one of his gyms, he increased the customer transaction, the average order value, by selling supplements, and not by trying to sell supplements really, but just by, in the process of signing someone up for the gym membership, saying to them, okay, do you want chocolate or vanilla for your protein powder? Like giving them the offer right there as the offer was, not being like, okay, do you want to buy something else? Just giving them the option of, do you want chocolate or vanilla? Not, do you want to buy something?
Yeah, assuming the sale.
Yeah. And you can do similar, if you think about, here, we'll give you a really easy example. And this is something that you could swipe, I think, super easily in a Black Friday sale. Let's say you were running a sale for acquiring new customers and you were running, say you had a limited number of your last record on vinyl that you found, and you were positioning that as like, we found these in the back of the van or the back of the bus, and we're selling them limited edition and we're never going to print them again. We added a CD to it, so we added a little bit of extra value. On the next step of that funnel of that sale, when someone goes from sales page through checkout and they're checked out, the next step of that funnel might not even be a product. It would be like, do you want that autographed or autographed and personalized? And they can click.
Yeah, on Nino Bless's album launch back in 2016, what we did was our upsell for you purchased the limited edition signed copy of the CD. The upsell was, would you like to add a t-shirt or a hoodie?
Yeah.
Same principle applies. Now they could click no and say, I don't want either. But the implication is that like, okay, how do you want us to upgrade your order? Do you want a t-shirt or a hoodie? Kind of changes it a little bit.
In sales psychology, this is the concept of assuming the sale. And in this case, it's assuming the upsell.
Yeah, totally. Well, yeah, not to get too nitty gritty with the different things you can do within the funnel.
And we could nerd out about this forever.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I don't want us to get trapped. I recommend preparing 2 offers unless you don't have any existing customers, in which case, like, you don't have to worry about that. But I would prepare 2 offers, one that's a bit more significant in terms of price point. And what I want you to consider for this Black Friday, and something that we've been trying to do more of, is don't discount, add value. Everyone's going to be discounting, offering this much off, that much off. You can still have this much off, but it should be this much off by adding value to an existing product and then placing a value. So for instance, like if I was going to sign a CD, and I would consider the value of that over a regular CD as being $20, then if I'm selling the CD, but the signature is free, I would consider it like this much off, right? Even though like I'm not actually discounting down from something that already exists. I really want you to consider, instead of making something cheaper, how can I add value to make the entire offer more valuable as you're constructing your offers? And that's the first part of any sales promotion, including Black Friday, is offer construction.
For sure, yeah. We did an episode on this, I want to say in the winter of last year, that I'll make sure we share in the show notes, about offer creation and some of the elements of a great offer, because one of the things that we were talking about was adding bonuses and adding value through bonuses. But I definitely like the concept of adding value through signatures. Something else that we did a lot with a lot of our clients at the agency last year was adding in super low cost, high margin bonuses to Black Friday offers that would otherwise spice up a product or an offer that was already being made previously. For example, for one of our clients last year, they were launching an EP around Black Friday, which was daring and amazing. And we were thinking like, okay, well, like if you guys are going to want to continue to sell this after Black Friday and you want to get the maximum amount of juice out of this holiday sales period right now, and we were thinking about how do we continue this into December and into Christmas and all of the giving holidays as well. We were thinking about how do we make that happen. So what we did for Black Friday, we said, okay, well, let's set aside a limited number, let's sign them, and let's bundle that EP, these specific ones, with a holiday card, a Christmas card for them. And it was the band, a photo taken, nicely printed up. And that allowed us to actually raise the price of the EP as it would have normally been priced. It allowed us to raise it because it was more like a bundle. We didn't even have to present it as discounted. We could have if we wanted to, but we didn't even have to. The value was inherent just because there was only so many of them available. They were only available until the day after Cyber Monday. And once that was gone, there were no more Christmas cards going out, and that was going to be it. And they sold like hotcakes. It was amazing.
Yeah, that rocks. Yeah, so that's an important thing to consider. So in the construction of our offers, we have the 2 tiers. We have existing customers and non-customers. We're going to create different offers for each. And when we're creating those offers, we want to add value as much as we can, prioritize that over discounting. Now, for non-customers rather, sometimes discounting is appropriate, like if you want to get people off the fence. But insofar as you can, don't do that. Add value.
We were just having a conversation a couple weeks ago with an artist manager, actually, who was very hesitant about sales promotions and Black Friday as a whole, because he was saying like, well, my artist doesn't ever do discounts. We don't ever want to do discounts for her merch. And I was like, great, you don't have to. Like, that's amazing to hear. And so I want to set any fears about seeming salesy or cheapening the brand, which like we could get into that in probably greater depth, that concept in a subsequent episode, but you don't have to discount. And in fact, oftentimes you're better off not.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's offer construction. And probably we're going to take things you already have inventory of, you already are offering for sale, and we're going to modify them by adding bonuses or by removing price. And then once we have that figured out, what I would recommend is that, we've gone through like Black Fridays where we had like a Black Friday offer, then we had like a Cyber Week offer. But ultimately you should know, and to keep this the simplest it can be, Black Friday is the Friday immediately after Thanksgiving. Cyber Monday is the Monday following that, and usually brands do Cyber Week, so it goes all the way to the next Friday. So from Black Friday to the Friday after, you have a sales promotion window. It can be shorter, it can be longer, but I keep it simple and just have that week be when you're making this offer. And that following Friday after Black Friday is when it expires. So now you have offers, you have a time window. It's pretty much all we need to make a sales promo. The next thing is to create your carts. So whether it be in Shopify, whether it be in ThriveCart, whatever, you're going to want to set up your products so that people can purchase them. And then once we've got them in your shopping cart software where you can offer them to people and they can check out for them, then it's all about building the marketing. And so we'll go from there where we'll work backwards. So let's imagine we have a sales page or an offer page where we're going to make the offer that's separate from the checkout. If we have that, I would consider actually recording a video for this. And the reason being is that you're going to explain the offer and you're going to explain its limited nature instead of relying entirely on text on the page to do that for you. I think it can definitely help out when you're dealing with a time-limited sales promo. But, a lot of artists are uncomfortable with like selling. And so I just want to emphasize that like a video can definitely be helpful in specifically a holiday oriented sales promotion. Obviously, like you don't have to, but it can only help you in this instance, I think.
What's nice about Black Friday, and not to contradict what Cirque just said, because I totally agree. If you can make a VSL, you should. Like if you can, you must is kind of the line that I'm taking here. But if you physically cannot, and you're making yourself sick to your stomach by the idea of making a VSL on your sales page, then the nice thing about Black Friday is everybody else is selling right now. And so you don't have to do quite as much because, sales messaging is everywhere. People are in buying consciousness. Now, I will say, what's nice about having a VSL and video ads as well is it does set you apart. it will definitely set you apart amongst the businesses out there, or at least put you on par with them, because I hate to say it, but a lot of businesses are going to have great video ads and great VSLs, and a lot of artists aren't. And so you'll be set apart from the artist, and hopefully you'll be on par with the rest of the businesses out there in the world.
Yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword where like you won't be as harmed by not having a video, but the opportunity is even greater to have video.
Yeah.
I would be remiss if I did not include that. But just having an offer page where we're giving the details of the offer, and then specifically we are signaling the urgency and the scarcity. So there's two ways we can go about this. We can rely entirely on the urgency of having a time window in the first place. Like this offer expires, you can only purchase it up to a certain time. But then we can also add in scarcity. We can limit the quantity of the offer. And this especially helps if you actually, your numbers don't work out or you have limited inventory above a certain amount. Because that way we can limit that and it just adds to the desirability of the offer itself. So if, for example, you have a bonus in the bundle that you're offering to existing customers, but you only have so many of this bonus item, then you could add scarcity around the bonus itself, saying like, here's the bundle, you get all this stuff, but for the first 100 people who purchase it, you also get X, right? Different ways to add in urgency and scarcity to this offer. And we want that all prominently displayed on your offer page, including a countdown timer if you can.
Dude, I love stacked bonuses in an urgency-based offer where it's like, you're going to get all the like if you're buying at Black Friday, you're going to get all of these bonuses. But if you're one of the first 50, 100, whatever, then you're going to get the extra thing. I love those kind of offers. Those always hook me because it's like value stacked on top of value. It's so good.
I'm game for it every time. Yeah, 100%.
It's so good. Something I want to mention here with regards to video, not to circle back or beat a dead horse about video, but something we saw at the agency last year that worked really good with that one band that I was talking about that launched an EP was not only did they have video ads that they were using, they also went live and launched the offer. So they went live to their fans and launched the offer, and it was a table rush because of it.
They did a webinar.
Yeah, they did. The only thing that they could have done differently, which would have been amazing, is like get signups for that ahead of time. Maybe we'll do that this year. I'm going to talk to them about that.
Another thing you can do is if you're doing the live on a platform you advertise on, specifically Facebook, you can use the live post as an ad.
Yeah.
Which also does numbers when you do it. It really works well.
Yeah, pro tip for you guys here. If any of you listening do live streams regularly and you get a lot of engagement, and this is just a general advertising idea and tip, is run those in Greenlight Warmth campaigns at a low budget. Just run your live streams as, use the existing post with all of the social proof. Run those as engagement ads and watch your fan base grow, because people are going to see, what looks like a regular live stream in their news feed. They're going to check it out and be like, what is this? Why did I miss it? And why are so many people talking about it? So whether it has anything to do with sales or not, it's a massive, I feel like it's one of the biggest organic opportunities that still exists to leverage into paid traffic on a platform like Facebook. It's still, like you said, does numbers. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's wild. Complete aside, we always get roped in, but yeah, it can work really well. So yeah, introducing the offer, a live stream is a great way to do it if you have a captive audience for that sort of thing already. But that's all to say, we went through offer creation. You're going to want to configure it in however you collect payments. So Shopify, Ecwid, BigCommerce, ThriveCart, ClickFunnels, whatever. Squarespace Commerce. Get the products in there. So we have a checkout. We have an offer that's on the checkout. Then we build our offer page. We want to lace in urgency. Countdown timers work really well for that. We want to lace in scarcity if we can by, making some bonuses quantity limited. Specifically, if they are quantity limited, you only have so much inventory. And then it's about promotion of that offer. How do we get this link to the offer page out to as many relevant people as possible? So I'm a big advocate of setting up your segments long before you need them. So you go into your email marketing platform And ideally, you already have existing customers tagged or in a segment. So you've been collecting that data the whole time, and you know who on your email list has bought something and who hasn't. So you're creating those segments on that basis. If you don't, you can take your Stripe account or your Thrivecart or wherever you collect payments from, Shopify, export your entire customer list, and then import it into your email marketing platform with a specific tag. So now you've got all your customers. Get that out of the way early, because it's a headache you do not want to deal with after the fact. And then we're going to talk about let's talk about email, and then we'll talk about social strategy too.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because as we dive into this, I want to just stress the importance of omni-channel promotion during a sales promo, and maximizing your reach across any channel that you could possibly use. Email marketing, text marketing, absolutely organic social. That's why I started to dip into talking about the live stream that one client of ours did, because it was a prime example of them being willing to tap into socials. And I think that's where some artists get hung up, is like, I'm going to let my sales live in email and text maybe, and I'm not going to touch social media. And you couldn't do something more detrimental than to not involve your socials, because if you're not physically, digitally allowing people to see that you're excited about this via your social media, where a lot of people probably engage with you and interact, the email marketing and text marketing will feel disconnected from you. And you don't want that during a sale. You want it to feel all very coherent.
Yeah, in fact, like, and we went over this recently together, but like, we have agency clients for whom, like, their management is really in contact with us and the artist isn't, because like they're doing artist things, and the artist controls the social, and they're not really willing to promote like for e-commerce on their own behalf. And hopefully we're bringing them over to the other side, but like, that's how it currently stands. We have another artist who's very similar to one of the artists who fits that criteria. And the difference between them is just mainly whether they're willing to promote on social for an offer. And the difference in results is an extra zero. It's an extra figure on like a month to month or an annual basis. So it's really important. This omni-channel thing is quite important.
Yeah, and I think it's becoming more and more important as time goes on. As fans get more ingrained in who you are as an artist, and social media becomes a bigger part of how you tap in with your fans on a day-to-day basis, especially as you grow, letting that wane and disappear is like drinking poison for your business.
Yeah, it sucks. So yeah, definitely we're going to want to have a social strategy. But on the email strategy side, so if I'm going to assume you don't have a text list, but we'll briefly cover that in a second. On the email strategy side, we're going to want to have a main sequence, right? That's going to be sent out, a series of emails that's going to open on Black Friday. It's going to have the full details of the offer. You're going to be unveiling it, giving all those details in email, and trying to get the click over to the offer page. There's going to be one for your non-customers and one for your existing customers. So we're talking about two separate email sequences here, but they follow a very similar cadence, which is offer open, and then a day later, like offer reminder. So we're going to summarize everything from that offer unveil in like a bullet point fashion, and we're going to send that a day later or 2 behind the scenes, anything we got, and we would use that as the reason to email, and we'd mention on the back end, oh yeah, we're also running this Black Friday offer. It's still open. Here it is. So we can use content in between to give more reasons to email. So I would consider it as offer open, offer summary a day or two later, and then content, content, content. That's going to fill out your Cyber Week, Cyber Monday to like Cyber Thursday, maybe. I also like to include an FAQ, just if there's common objections or customer support-y type things where they're like, how long will shipping take? Can I claim this like at this time? This or that. Like any questions you get or would get, to include it in an FAQ and just say, hey, we had a couple of fans like write in and say like have some questions about this offer. Wanted to clear those up in an email to you. So having an FAQ email And then offer close is usually 2 emails at least. So to be day of, and then like an hour to like short amount of time before it actually closes.
But like that gives you basically an open playing field to work with as far as, an appropriate cadence, enough reminders. And again, it goes without saying that people are not going to see your first email and then
I was just thinking this. Like people are listening, they're like, that's too many emails. And it's like, yeah.
let's break it down in terms of Black Friday specifically. You have to think about the volume of email marketing that is going to be going on during this period of time in somebody's inbox. They're going to be hearing from brands. They're going to be hearing from other artists. Maybe they're getting wish lists from their loved ones in email. I don't know if people send those via email, but maybe they will. You need to stand out. You need to be in the inbox and you need to be in there often. It's not going to be intrusive. They're not going to mark you as spam. And even if they do, who gives a shit? They can unsubscribe if they want to. It's not going to be the end of the world for you. What you need to do is you need to maximize your exposure. And it's not spammy. You can make the emails different. Cirque just laid out a beautiful cadence, which gives you a lot of opportunities to say different things and demonstrate what your offer is in different ways, both through you talking about it, you reminding people about it in different ways, and also sharing content from other fans. I think that makes it a huge kind of varied pot that you can choose from that doesn't make it boring or overwhelming or overbearing.
Yeah. And so you might think that's a lot of email writing. Once you do one series, it'll be really easy to copy it and just, fill out different details for the other one. And then what I would consider is like, ideally, we're going to be manually adding all of the people from this relevant segment to this automation on Black Friday. So like all your timings work out because you have it timed with delays such that they should get the emails all the way up until the end. This way we're adding them all at one time. So all those delays work out. You can also do this with like scheduled broadcasts, like single email campaigns. It's just kind of a bit more of a hassle to deal with in most cases. But I did want to say that before you do that, you might want to consider teasing leading up to Black Friday. So you might want to consider like week of, like Thanksgiving week, we're going to send a little bit of a teaser, like get ready. I'm going to be unveiling something very cool, especially to your existing customers who are already quite engaged and committed. Like we're going to want to tease it and get them ready for it so that they expect it.
And here's why that's important to do, I think, especially around this period of time, is Black Friday starts earlier and earlier every year. So now brands are calling it Black November and stuff like that. So the least that you can do if you're going to start on Black Friday, for like the simplicity's sake that we were talking about, is remind your fans or give them a heads up a week before or 2 weeks before. You can use some content to sort of tease it out. Stuff that can be actually really cool for this, if you need like content ideas for teasers, is like if you're getting a delivery of the stuff that you're going to be selling, maybe you get like the package of hoodies or the package of tees. You could tease that to your fans a little bit, show them you unboxing it, whisper emojis and stuff like that, make it cute, make it fun, whatever fits your voice and brand. You can do a lot of cool stuff with that just to kind of give them
You could say big things coming.
You sure could. Sure could. Something I really like, I'm actually going to be recommending this to a bunch of our IndieX clients this year. Something I really like, if you are tapping into organic social strategy in your sales promo rollout, on the announce post that you make, especially if you do video, tell your fans that when they pick up whatever it is you're selling, tell them to go in the comments and like either hashtag I got it or say I got it and tag a friend, and just let the social proof and crowd psychology take over, where it's tons of people being like, I got it, I'm stoked, or I got mine, I'm stoked. And let the crowd psychology stack up there and see how much more traction you get. And what you can do then is, going back to what Cirque was talking about content emails, is you can screenshot that post and all of the comments of people being like, I got it. You can throw that in an email and be like, yo, in case you missed this, look at all these awesome people that said they got it. Like, don't you want to be one of them? If you're missing out, join their ranks.
Yeah, that's rocket fuel right there. You could even go so far as to create like, you might have a thank you automation for product purchases from your store, and it's the same for most products. and you might just create a unique one for this offer, and actually, like, in the first email thanking people for their order, link them out to like one of your ads and have them do it there. Like, there's all types of different things. We're going to get into tactics again. This is bad.
Yeah, it's tough. I wanted to give some tactics. It's kind of fun.
There's a lot of fun you can have with a computer.
Well, speaking of tactics, let's talk a little bit about resources for you guys to kind of wrap things up here. So far, we've talked about offer creation and your marketing and your tech stack and your cadence and what you should be doing on all of those fronts. Now, we didn't want to leave you guys with just a podcast episode and our past episodes. So to kind of open things up a little bit more and give you a bit more resources, we're going to leave in a show notes today a link to last year. We did a Black Friday workshop inside of Indie Pro, specifically and exclusively only to our Indie Pro members. But for this month leading up into Black Friday, we're going to give that away for free. You guys can check it out. You can sign up for it below. Get on our list and you'll be sent access to it right away. It's dope. Andy Hunter, one of our lead strategists at IndieX, led the workshop and walked through the process of Black Friday offer creation and tech setup. So if you're in a hurry, whether you're hearing this a week before Black Friday or whether you're, listening to this on the day that it launches and you've got plenty of time, this will be really useful for you, I think, and hopefully will help you execute on things quickly and effectively.
Yeah, it comes with some sick, helpful resources as well. But I do want to say, if you are an Indie Pro member already, do not sign up for this offer because it will make our automation crazy.
Thank you, please.
Yeah, sometimes people sign up for like things that they already have access to in Indie Pro, and then it downgrades their membership because it's technically a free. Anyways, just don't do it.
You don't want to be downgraded, do you?
You don't want to be downgraded. You don't have to message us, although we would quickly fix it for you, but it's just easier. But that said, like when we originally did this workshop, like seats for it were like $145, and today you get it for free. So definitely check that out. Super valuable and super helpful. And Andy's a brilliant marketer, so great person to learn from.
Yeah, super excited for you guys to crack into this. Hope you dug this episode. This was fun, Cirque. Thanks for getting into the weeds with me on Black Friday. It was great to have you back for this.
Hell yeah, dude. And I would be remiss to not say that like we've had a lot of really cool value-packed Black Fridays in our history, and this Black Friday will be no different. I'm going to whisper, just a little whisper, like, holy shit, we're going to drop on you guys.
Really, really excited for this Black Friday. Can't wait to share with you guys. So make sure you're keeping in the loop with us. Maybe we'll be continuing to tease out what's going to be going on the show. So listen, if you dig it, let us know. It really helps to juice us up in the algorithms and whatnot. So that would be deeply, deeply appreciated. And we'll catch you guys next time on Creative Juice. Thanks for joining us. As we wrap up, you're listening to Who Am I?
Chad Henson shouts.
And this song is called I Can Make It. Peace out, Indies.
And even if you feel alone,